Hello everyone, got 4 dirty jokes for you today. So a man came home from work and found his 3 children outside, still in their pajamas, playing in the mud, with empty food boxes and wrappers strewn all around the front yard. The door of his wife's car was open, as was the front door to the house, and there was no sign of the dog. Proceeding into the entry, he found an even bigger mess. A lamp had been knocked over, and the throw rug was wadded against one wall. In the front room, the TV was loudly blaring a cartoon channel, and the family room was strewn with toys and various items of clothing. In the kitchen, dishes filled the sink, breakfast food was spilled on the counter, the fridge door was open wide, dog food was spilled on the floor, a broken glass lay under the table, and a small pile of sand was spread by the back door. He quickly headed up the stairs, stepping over toys and more piles of clothes, looking for his wife. He was worried she might be ill or that something serious had happened. He was met with a small trickle of water as it made its way out the bathroom door. As he peered inside, he found wet towels, scummy soap, and more toys strewn over the floor. Miles of toilet paper lay in a heap, and toothpaste had been smeared over the mirror and walls. As he rushed to the bedroom, he found his wife still curled up in the bed in her pajamas, reading a novel. She looked up at him, smiled, and asked how his day went. He looked at her bewildered and asked, "What the hell happened here today?" She again smiled and answered, "You know, every day when you come home from work and you ask me what in the world I do all day." "Yes," was his incredulous reply. She smiled and answered, "Well, today I didn't do it." So there's a traveling salesman who loves to play poker. Every town he visits, he manages to find a game. One night he's led to the back of a saloon, and seated among the locals is a German shepherd. The salesman is surprised to see a dog at a poker table, but the dog appears to be very well behaved, so the guy sits down to play. Well, after a couple of hours, the salesman and the dog are in a showdown. The salesman raises, the dog raises back, the salesman raises again, and the dog calls. The salesman shows his hand, 3 queens. The dog turns over his hand, a flush. The salesman is so impressed with the dog, he isn't even mad that he lost the hand. "You know," he says to the one of the locals, "not only can that dog play, but he's really pretty good." "I guess he plays okay," says the local, "but we usually beat him." "Is that right?" says the salesman. "Yeah," says the local. "Whenever he has a good hand, he wags his tail." So a lady goes into a pet shop to buy a parrot. They say the parrot is $200, no refunds. The owner warns her the parrot can be badly behaved, but is normally well behaved. After some convincing, she decides to buy the parrot. She goes home, and as soon as they walk in the door, the parrot goes, "Oh man, this place is a shithole." The lady immediately yells at the parrot to watch his language. He apologizes and says it won't happen again. Then her husband comes home from work, and the parrot goes, "Oh man, and she's got an ugly husband." Again the lady freaks out and threatens she'd return him. The parrot apologizes again and reminds her she can't return him. The next day the lady's sister comes over and the parrot says, "Oh man, and I thought you were the ugly one," to his owner. The lady, horrified and fed up, grabs the parrot and locks him in the freezer. She's so annoyed. After some time she takes him out and the parrot is absolutely silent. The lady, nervous she may have left him in too long, feels bad and gives him warm food and asks him if he's okay. He responds, "I'm fine, but what the hell did the turkey do?" So a little boy boards a public bus and sits down right behind the driver. He begins to speak. If my mom was a cow and my dad was a bull, I'd be a little calf. If my mom was a hen and my dad was a chicken, I'd be a little chick. If my mom was a deer and my dad was a buck, I'd be a little deer. If my mom was a duck and my dad was a goose, I'd be a little duckling. After listening to the boy rambling on and on in the same manner for a while, the bus driver begins to get annoyed. He turns around and says to the boy, "What if your mom was a drunk and your dad was a bum?" In an instant, the boy responds, "I'd be a bus driver."